Imagine a 23-foot armored killing machine with venomous teeth stalking Pleistocene Australia, facing off against a 42-foot serpent so massive it could swallow crocodiles whole and crush bones with the force of a hydraulic press. One, the largest terrestrial lizard in Earth's history. The other, the most colossal snake ever discovered. Megalania versus Titanoboa. These prehistoric apex predators were separated by 50 million years and continents, but today we're using cutting-edge paleobiology to determine which evolutionary masterpiece would dominate in the ultimate clash of titans. I'm Patrick from Speculative Science, and this analysis will blow your mind. Get ready for some incredible science that reveals just how insane prehistoric life could get. First, we'll uncover how these titans ruled completely different worlds, from Ice Age Australia's megafauna battlegrounds to the scorching swamps that emerged right after the dinosaurs died. Then we'll break down their biological arsenals using real fossil data and biomechanics. But here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. We'll analyze actual fossil evidence showing what they hunted, how their killing methods worked, and run 4 battle scenarios based on pure evolutionary biology. Plus, we'll reveal which environmental factors could tip the scales in this impossible matchup. If you're already choosing sides, drop Team Monitor or Team Serpent in the comments, because by the end of this video you'll understand why size isn't everything in the prehistoric predator game. Origins and evolutionary context. Let's dive into 2 evolutionary success stories from vastly different worlds. Megalania, scientifically known as Varanus priscus, was the ultimate Australian apex predator, evolving during the Pliocene around 5 million years ago and reaching gigantic proportions in the Pleistocene Ice Age. This wasn't just a big lizard, it was the largest terrestrial lizard ever recorded, dominating Australia's megafauna until around 50,000 years ago. But Titanoboa cerrejonensis lived in an entirely different world. Discovered in Colombia's Cerrejón coal mine in 2009, this colossal serpent thrived in the Paleocene epoch, roughly 60 million years ago. This was a hothouse Earth, where global temperatures reached 86 to 93 degrees Fahrenheit, perfect conditions for cold-blooded giants to reach impossible sizes. Here's the staggering timeline gap. Titanoboa went extinct about 58 million years ago when global cooling made its massive body unsustainable. Megalania emerged 53 million years later in a completely different climate. They represent 2 distinct experiments in reptilian gigantism, one aquatic, one terrestrial, each perfectly adapted to rule their respective worlds. The size difference is mind-boggling. Megalania reached 23 feet and up to 1,300 pounds, making it a pickup truck-sized predator, but Titanoboa up to 42 feet long, 3 feet in diameter, and weighing over 2,500 pounds, longer than a city bus and heavier than a car. Biological weapons comparison. Their killing methods represent 2 completely different evolutionary strategies, each absolutely devastating in its own way. Megalania, the venomous ripper. This armored giant combined multiple weapon systems, powerful jaws filled with serrated, knife-like teeth designed to slice through thick hide and bone. Recent studies suggest it possessed venom glands like its modern relative, the Komodo dragon, delivering a toxic cocktail that caused shock, prevented blood clotting, and dropped blood pressure. Strong limbs allowed burst speeds of 20 to 30 miles per hour for ambush attacks, while tough beaded scales provided natural armor. Titanoboa, the crushing colossus, pure constricting power on an unimaginable scale. This massive boa could generate crushing forces exceeding 100 pounds per square inch across its entire body length. When it coiled around prey, each breath the victim took allowed the snake to tighten further until blood flow stopped and organs shut down. Its flexible jaws could unhinge to swallow prey twice its head diameter, and heat-sensing pits let it hunt in complete darkness. The fundamental difference? Megalania was built for quick, violent encounters using venom and trauma. Titanoboa was designed for patient, inescapable death through overwhelming physical force. The 4 battle scenarios. 4 realistic scenarios based on fossil evidence and biomechanical analysis. Pure paleobiology, maximum scientific accuracy. Round 1, shallow swamp ambush. Megalania approaches water's edge when Titanoboa strikes from below. The snake's aquatic advantage is overwhelming. Water supports its massive weight while the lizard struggles for footing. If Titanoboa gets initial coils around the torso, that crushing force becomes inescapable. The monitor's venom won't help if it can't breathe. Snake dominates this scenario. Round 2, open scrubland encounter. On solid ground, Megalania's mobility shines. Its burst speed allows hit-and-run attacks, targeting the snake's vulnerable head and neck with those serrated teeth. Titanoboa's massive body becomes a liability on dry land, slow to maneuver and exposed to repeated strikes. If the lizard lands a solid venomous bite and retreats, time becomes its ally. Megalania takes this round. Round 3, dense forest wrestling match. In thick vegetation, both predators lose mobility advantages. This becomes a pure grappling contest. Megalania's claws and bite versus Titanoboa's constricting coils. The critical factor is who establishes dominance first. If the snake gets a wrap, it's over. If the lizard avoids the coils and delivers multiple bites, venom accumulation tips the scales. This scenario is genuinely 50-50. Round 4. Temperature-dependent battle. Here's where paleoclimate becomes crucial. In the scorching heat, Titanoboa required, over 86 degrees Fahrenheit, the snake operates at peak efficiency, while Megalania, adapted to cooler Pleistocene conditions, overheats rapidly. But in moderate temperatures around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, the situation reverses. The snake becomes sluggish while the monitor maintains full combat effectiveness. Environment absolutely determines the winner. The evolutionary reality. Our scenario analysis reveals a fascinating truth. There's no universal winner because these giants evolved for completely different ecological niches. Titanoboa dominates in warm, aquatic environments where its size advantage is maximized and mobility limitations minimized. Megalania rules terrestrial encounters where speed, venom, and tactical flexibility overcome raw size. But here's the deeper evolutionary insight that changes everything. These predators represent two peak solutions to the same problem: how to be an apex predator as a large ectotherm. Titanoboa chose overwhelming size and crushing power, requiring specific climate conditions. Megalania chose versatile weaponry and mobility, adapting to varied environments. The terrifying reality? Both strategies were so successful, they dominated their ecosystems completely. Titanoboa vanished when global cooling ended the hothouse world it required. Megalania survived until humans arrived in Australia. These giants teach us that in evolution, there's no single path to apex predator status, only perfect adaptation to your environment. This prehistoric showdown reveals more than just predator capabilities. It's a window into how evolution creates giants and why they disappear. Both Megalania and Titanoboa push the absolute limits of what's possible for reptilian predators, each representing millions of years of evolutionary refinement. The fossil evidence shows us that Earth's climate history directly shaped these titans. Titanoboa's existence proves that hothouse conditions can support creatures beyond our wildest imagination. Megalania's survival through ice ages demonstrates the power of adaptive versatility over raw size. Today, as we face rapid climate change, these prehistoric lessons become urgent reminders. Ecosystems and their apex predators are finely tuned to specific conditions. Dramatic environmental shifts, like the cooling that killed Titanoboa, or the human arrival that doomed Megalania, can end evolutionary success stories in geological instants. If this prehistoric battle analysis fascinated you, smash that subscribe button for more deep dives into paleobiology and evolutionary science. Comment below, which apex predator strategy do you think is superior? Titanoboa's crushing power or Megalania's versatile arsenal? And remember, when we understand these ancient ecosystems, we better appreciate the incredible and fragile natural world around us today.